TIFU by going on a date with a girl from Tinder who seemed way too good to be true and not seeing the red flags. I, 23M, was talking to this girl, 23F, for a week on Tinder and Instagram. She was gorgeous and she seemed very fun and outgoing, but she did have an investment girl boss vibe to her, and that's okay, but I should have seen it coming. I asked her for a coffee date and she says yes. We meet up and she looks good but not exactly like her photos. No problem there, let's see if we connect, I thought. The first 10 minutes goes great, conversation is flowing and I ask her if she wants some coffee. After all, we're at a coffee shop on a coffee date. She says no because she had some earlier. First red flag. I mean, who goes on a coffee date but drinks some just before the actual date? Tells me to go and get one for myself if I want. Alright, no problem. I go and get my coffee and when I come back, there's another girl at our table. She says, hey, this is my partner, we'll call her B, I was working with her earlier. That's when it hit me that this wasn't a date, lol. B starts asking me questions about my job, my studies, and asked me if I would listen to their business plan so that I could make more money each month, lamau. So she takes out a notepad and starts explaining me their business model and how much money I would make if I would find 3 other persons who would find 3 other people themselves, etc. I straight up tell her, so this is like a pyramid scheme, right? This ain't no date. To which A responds, oh, it is a date, but you seemed like a cool person to become our partner, lamau what? And this isn't a pyramid scheme, it's multi-level marketing, MLM. Okay, so exactly the same thing. I couldn't believe that this was happening to me. Oh boy, so I sat there for legit 15 more mins and listened to them explain to me how I could make up to 5K a month if I were to get 100 people to join this business. I told them I had to leave to go to the vet with my dog. They didn't seem happy that I wasn't interested in their MLM lamau. I laughed so much on the way home that I was crying. TLDR, went on a coffee date with a gorgeous girl from Tinder, and when I went to get my coffee she texted her business partner to come and pitch me their pyramid scheme business model for 30 minutes. Edit 1. Thank you so much for the awards, upvotes and comments. I did report A's profile on Tinder as spam as soon as I got home. The product they were trying to sell was some vitamins, proteins, omega-3 tablets and some very good collagen, lol. You should report her profile so other guys don't waste time with this scammer. Oh yeah, I did that as soon as I got home. I hope it means something to. I'd have done it right there in front of her the second I realized I was being pitched, so she didn't have the chance to unmatch me first. Turn the tables and start offering IT services for their fast-growing business at the low rate of $100 an hour. But wait, there is more. For each additional person, each hour of IT support will cost 50 cents less, up to a max of $50 per hour. Please note this only covered support and not any type of gear or design. This isn't a pyramid scheme, it's a pyramid scheme. Got to at least recognize the time and effort it sounds like she put into it. Ye had moved to a new city, met this guy and became friends. Hung out a bit, motorbike rides, lunches act. Then after about maybe 12 months of casually hanging out, he messages me and asks if I want to go for a ride and get lunch. Sure. When we sit down for lunch he pulls out this folder and just starts trying to rope me into his new job. You guessed it. Pyramid scheme. Haven't spoken since, and that was 2 years ago. He tried to abuse our friendship and rope me into the same pyramid scheme he joined. Not good. TIFU by accidentally stealing a human. This was last night. I went to a nearby taco/burrito truck to get some dinner. As I get out of my car, a homeless man asks me for a burrito from where I'm headed to. I say no, sorry, and keep walking. I live in Washington State, USA, and there's unfortunately a lot of homeless people here. As I get in line to order I feel bad, so I ordered an extra burrito to give to him as I went back to my car. As I'm waiting for the food, the homeless man showed up to the truck with some money. I stand up, go up to him, pull him aside and tell him that I already ordered him a burrito. He didn't speak much English and he spoke softly, so it was tough to communicate, but I got him to sit down and I waited with him. He tried to get up a few times to pay, but I kept saying that I already ordered and it's going to be here with my food. It was all very confusing for both of us. Somebody overheard this and came up behind me and handed me a $5 bill saying here's my part. It was super nice of him and unexpected, but not the weird part of the story. While waiting for the food, a family comes up to the truck to order with a homeless man and he orders a burrito. I'm a little confused because I only saw one. So, who do I have? WTF? I am incredibly bad with faces, and when I got out of my car the first man who asked was a bit far away so I couldn't see much of him. I finally realized that they have the person who asked me when I got out of my car. I ended up just stealing a fucking person out of line to get food and sat him down, in his eyes, randomly. He was probably so confused, and it's why he kept trying to pay. So the food gets ready, I open the bag, hand him the burrito, and tell him to have a good night, and he says thanks. I leave and go back to my car, he leaves and goes back to his car. Yeah, this was just some dude. He happened to be pretty old, a little dirty, and had troubles getting around. If you saw him you would think the same. He still needed help, that was obvious. With the little bit we spoke, he seemed to have it pretty rough. I don't regret it, so it's not a major FU at anything, but holy shit, I am massively embarrassed. I am still cringing from last night. TLDR, confused a random guy with a homeless guy from earlier and stole him temporarily to sit at a table and gave him food. Well, stealing somebody to give them food is a lot better than what some people do. In all seriousness, it was still very nice of you. Dudes like WTF, I wanted a bean and cheese burrito and this MF insists I eat a beef burrito and won't let me go in line to order what I like. Also ILPT, go for burritos with a dirty friend, make a big scene about you buying him a burrito and have strangers give you $5. R/Anteam would love this. Sorry you went through that. Such scum.
TIFU by calling a nice guy a pervert. This happened yesterday. I, 31F, was in a grocery store parking lot after doing some shopping and started putting my bags away into my car. I had one earphone in and was really focused on the conversation happening on one of my favorite podcasts. As I was finishing up, I noticed some guy on a bicycle heading in my direction. He looked up at me and said, "Nice breasts," as he rode past me smiling. I was really caught off guard by this, so I yelled back, "You're disgusting, perv." He glanced back at me with a really confused look and mumbled something like, "What the hell?" I realized about 3 seconds later that what he actually said was, "Nice dress." I was wearing a long, colorful maxi dress that really stood out. I immediately felt like an idiot and I still cringe just thinking about it. Oops, grimacing face, sorry, bike guy. TLDR, I misheard a guy trying to give me a nice compliment and thought he said nice breasts instead of nice dress. Edit, wow, so many people missing the point here. I didn't think he was a creep for giving me a compliment, I misheard what he said. That was the whole point of the post. Lamau. Ita coming soon complimented a woman on her dress as I rode by on my bike. She called me a fucking perv. Am I the asshole? That dude will probably never compliment a random woman now. That reminds me of the time I walked trough a door, knew there were people behind me, so I hold it open for the next person, and this girl goes go hit on another bitch, asshole. I still don't know what I did wrong. She must have had a really tough day. One time after coming back from a backpacking trip, in a city where it's filled with travelers from all over the world, I got used to smiling at people and greeting them. It's the way I made so many friends on the trip. A random hand wave ends up with people I go trekking with. When I came back to the city I live in, I was walking in the city center and walked past a girl, just smiled at her and walked by, a normal smile that lasted a second. Got immediately called as a pervert. This was in New Delhi, and it's one of the reasons I feel living in this city kills my social life. Whenever I go to a different city and here, it's way different, just New Delhi has this unfriendly vibe in it. TIFU by being upfront instead of ghosting my lame date. I, 30F, went on a date with a guy, 31M, who I met a few days ago. I thought he was cute and he told me how sweet and pretty I was and that he wanted to take me on a date. We went out for tacos and margaritas at one of my favorite taco spots. Throughout the date it felt pretty one-sided as far as I was trying to make conversation and all he wanted to do was get out of the taco place and walk around so we could hold hands. I quickly started to realize our communication styles were completely different and I was not feeling any kind of spark. We got done with tacos and I suggested we go to a spot with board and card games instead of just walking around. He insisted on walking around and holding my hand, putting his arm around me and constantly touching my face until I finally had to demand he stop touching my face. I couldn't wait for the date to be over with. I was relieved after he finally dropped me back off at my car. Today he asked to go to the cinema for our next date and I told him that I was grateful for the tacos and his time, but wasn't feeling it and it would be best to just be friends. He responded with, I don't buy food and drink for my friends who drink 2 drinks and food, I need $30 back. I don't even know how to respond to that. I'm feeling like I guess I should have just ghosted him. TLDR, I went on a date which was a total dud and he thinks I owe him $30 since I don't want to continue dating him. Update, I haven't responded and now he is calling me a scammer and that he knows another guy from the bar I work at that I pulled the same scam on. This is funny to me because this guy is the only person I've gone on a date with that I've met while bartending and he has only lived here for 10 months. He is threatening to talk to my employer about this scam I am running. This is also amusing as my boss and I are very close and he is the owner of the bar. I've kept the owner in the loop about everything from the start, before even going into the date, and he thinks it would be hilarious if this guy came to talk to him about my so-called scam. Update 2, he hasn't messaged again nor did he come into my workplace tonight. My boss was a little disappointed he didn't get to have a fun little chat with the guy. I'm relieved as I feel like he's probably dropped it and moved on, at least I really hope so. If anything progresses I'll post it, but hopefully we're just done with this ridiculousness. P.S. Thank you to all the supportive words and advice from different viewpoints. I had no idea this was going to blow up like it did. Like wow, what a wild learning experience. If he acts like this now, imagine what it's like actually dating him. Oof. Good lord. Oh no. Yeah, just block him and move on. You didn't you. You gave him a chance and now he is salty you aren't into him. Set your boundaries and move on. Thanks. I was starting to doubt if I was the crazy one here, like. I didn't think I owed him anything. Do I even bother responding? I fear that if I don't he'll show up to the bar I work at, that's where we met while I was working, and demand his $30, which I have no intention of giving him. A $30 scam? Seriously? From a 31-year-old? How were the tacos? Right? The tacos were delicious at least, embarrassed smiley face. He's just proving your instincts correct. Yeah. I'm coming to the conclusion now after reading and responding to all you lovely Redditors that my actual fuck-up was not listening to my initial instincts and going on the date with this creep.
Hey. I love you. Thanks for watching. I hoped you enjoyed this Reddit audio story. It would mean a lot to me if you could like and subscribe, or better yet, leave a comment about one of the stories. Thanks and I hope you have a wonderfully fantastic day. XOXO.